Hello everyone, I'm Jay Cottrell, the Global Marketing Communications Manager here at LaserTech. Every Tuesday around 2 p.m. Mountain Time, I will be talking with an employee or a subject matter expert about traffic safety, professional measurement, our products, what it's like working during the pandemic, and anything else that may come to mind. We are live for about 15 minutes, which is just long enough for you to enjoy a coffee break with us. This interview is also being live tweeted, so you can join us on Twitter if that is a better format for you. If you have questions or comments for our guest or for LaserTech, you can post them below, and my team will respond to them, or we could even use that as a subject matter starter for our next Tuesday at Live. So today I'm talking with Officer Robert Barrett with the Columbus Police Department. And can I call you Robert?
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today.
That's no problem. Thanks for having me.
So we've been chatting a little bit. Can you tell me something about yourself, maybe something interesting that most people don't know?
Well, first off, I'm a police officer with the Columbus Division of Police. I've been in our traffic bureau for going on 24 years. Currently assigned in the afternoons as one of our freeway officers. I enjoy, fishing. I do a lot of teaching as well, both in the professional and off duty. I try and get out as much as I can and go from there, like the outdoors and different things like that.
All right. So, what kind of fishing do you like to do the best? Do you do fly fishing?
I can do fly fishing, but it's not really good. Flies don't bite that well. Usually I like doing deep sea fishing, and it's hard to do deep sea fishing in the state of Ohio, so it's a lot of lakes and rivers, and
right.
Just kind of getting out and relaxing, whether you catch something or not. It's just getting out in the outdoors and enjoying the beauty of the country.
I imagine you get to see a lot of the countryside right now with the pandemic, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we get to see a lot of it. It's a lot easier to see now that a lot of people have been off the roads and out of the area. So it's definitely an adjustment. It's definitely quite an adjustment. But in our area, there's a lot of things are starting to loosen up, and there's a lot more people out and using the nature trails, and the bike trails, and the bicyclists, and I see a lot of people walking their dogs a lot more than they ever have. So it's good that people are getting out and seeing the sunshine and not just being locked up inside their houses.
What are some really stark differences between your pre-pandemic patrol and what you do now?
A lot of the patrol and what we're seeing right now is there's a lot less traffic on the road. State of Ohio figures between 35 and 50% less traffic on the interstates and on the roadways. So what we end up seeing out here on the road is a lot of people, because there's not a lot of traffic, have sped up, and we're seeing a lot of really high speeds in residential and interstate areas where we're getting a lot of individuals, or catching a lot of individuals doing 40, 50 miles an hour above the speed limit,
wow.
Which is quite drastic. And before the pandemic, that would be very infrequent. Now it's almost on a daily basis that we're seeing somebody driving at an excessively high speed and putting other people at risk.
So how has this changed how you enforce speed on the roads?
On the roads, we're still doing speed enforcement. We're targeting the extremely high speeds, which is extremely easy given how many extremely high speeds that are out here. And we're doing our active enforcement, and we're staying busy as much as we can. A lot of the smaller violations, we're trying to get more warnings and everything else, and only issue citations for those really egregious violations that really put people at risk. And as people know, and people who look at the statistics, you see that speed is the number one cause of crashes in the United States, number one cause of death in the United States for all types of groups of people. It knows no lines of racial division or anything else. It's all speed speed kills. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care who you vote for. It doesn't care anything about what it is. It's, the car can only go so fast and you can only drive the vehicle so fast. We see, people have their lives decimated by somebody just driving way too fast. As an example, here yesterday, I was sitting in a construction zone and a car passed me 40 miles an hour above the speed limit in the construction zone. There's no reason for that. There really, truly is not any reason for that. You're not getting anywhere quicker. You're just going to cause somebody to wreck. You're going to wreck. You're going to cause somebody to lose their life, and that's not a good thing whatsoever.
No, and it's not safe for the construction workers either.
No, it's not.
So yeah, there's really no excuse for that. Have you seen an increase of DUIs, driving under the influence?
Yeah, it's with a lot of traffic. The people who are under the influence have a tendency to blend in their driving, because a lot of people do drive. A lot of people are distracted while they're driving, so we do see a lot of that. But now with less people on the road, now they're standing out more. So now that we're able to capture people who should have no business on the roadway whatsoever. Just as an example, 2 weeks ago, I had a car pass me at 111 miles an hour, and the individual who was driving was impaired on both alcohol and drugs at the time, cutting in and out of traffic, and luckily we got him stopped before he ended up being involved in a major crash and ended up killing himself, passenger, or an innocent party. And I mean, that's the one thing that we see a lot of these crashes from impaired drivers. Speed is a direct relation to that.
So with the social distancing that we're supposed to be doing, how do you manage these traffic stops?
A lot of it is just using common sense. How I do it is I always keep a pad of paper with me, and I have the individual, when I pull them over, I have them hold up their driver's license so I can see their information and verify their information. And then I'm able to do everything on the computer and the cruiser and verify their information, verify the identity, issue the traffic citation, and then release them with minimal contact. And typically the contact that we have with them is no more than a minute and a half for the entire traffic stop. So, I mean, we're still able to do that. If we do have to, unfortunately, go hands-on with somebody, we are supplying masks to individuals to make sure that they're safe and that we're safe in the process. We're using disposable gloves, hand sanitizer after contacts. We're doing everything that the CDC and the Ohio Department of Health is asking us to do to stop the spread. So a lot of us are washing our hands on a regular basis. I carry a bottle of isopro alcohol with me, so I wash my hands after every traffic stop, after every contact. That way I don't take anything that might be on my hands or might be on me home to my family.
Right, yeah, that is definitely a concern that I have for bringing things home to my family, even when I'm just going to the grocery store or picking up essentials, which is, it's a weird thing to think that everything is dangerous. So it's
a weird thing, but we are very resilient. And if you look back through history, we've done this before. We did this back in the early 1900s, where technology wasn't where we're at right now, where medicine wasn't where we're at right now, and everything else. And it was more serious of an incident back in the early 1900s, but we survived and we moved forward and we progressed. So this is something that we'll still be able to progress with. It may change how we're doing things in the short term, but eventually it'll get back to normal.
Right. Yeah, that is our hope. With all of the driving under influence and the speeding that you have you seen a larger presence by like nonprofits like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, making more of an appeal in your community?
We've seen a lot of local agencies kind of step up and just remind people that driving impaired still is a violation. The local MAD has put flyers out, and they do a wonderful job of educating the motoring public. We have a lot of programs that have moved forward. A lot of things have kind of shut down because of the COVID pandemic, but it's starting to come back up. And then we try in the law enforcement community to pass on information as much as we can through the media resources, through our Facebook pages and the YouTube videos and all the social media, that we try and pass on as much information as we can to let people know and to have people stay informed on what's safe and what's not, and what we can do to help people out. And that's our ultimate goal, is to make sure that everybody that we deal with goes home at the end of the month. And everybody that we're dealing with can go home safely to their families, and including us, including the officers and the firefighters and all the first responders that are out, working during this time.
Right. Yeah. Safety is so important. Are you noticing anything unexpected as things are starting to open back up?
Traffic's starting to pick back up, but the speeds have still not come down. People are still driving like they have for the last couple months, so we're still seeing extremely high speeds. So we're doing what we can to try and get it back into control. Education is the number one thing. We can educate people. Situations like this, where we're able to talk to the public and say, look, we're out here, we're trying to make sure that you make it home quickly and safely, but you got to be reasonable about when you do it. Okay, you can't be driving 100 miles an hour. It's not going to get you there any quicker. It's going to put you at risk or put somebody else at risk, and we'd like that to stop. Every officer has the ability to change somebody's life. Doing a lot of enforcement through traffic enforcement has the ability to directly affect people's lives.
Right. So those are all of the really official business type questions that I have. And you said you've grown up in Ohio your whole life. Do you have a good Buckeye recipe?
Unfortunately, no. I'm probably the worst cook you'll probably ever find. I have problems boiling water. I also have problems freezing water too. So it's just not a good thing for me to be talking about cooking.
Okay, all right. Then for the big game, there is only one game, from what I understand.
There is one game, and it's Ohio State versus the state of, we just call them the state up north. We don't mention their name. But yes, if you're Ohio, you got to be, if you're from Ohio or near Ohio, or you can spell Ohio, you've got to be a Buckeyes fan.
Right. Yeah. My kids are all forced to be Buckeyes fans because my husband's from Ohio. We love the marching band. We think that their halftime show is definitely one of the best things we've seen. So would you be wearing crimson or gray when you go to the game?
I would typically I typically work the game, so I would actually be in uniform.
You'd be in uniform.
Always scarlet and gray. Always scarlet.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, Robert. Is there anything else that you want people to know about traffic safety and driving safely?
The biggest thing I'd like to pass on to people is we're all responsible for our own actions. A police officer can't get you to slow down. He can only get you to comply with the law during a short period of time. Having people pay attention to what they're doing when they're driving, not paying attention to social media, not being on the phone, just simply driving with some common sense and paying attention will get you home safely, will get you home quickly, and will make sure that you're there for the next day for your kids and for your family and for everybody else. And that's the ultimate goal of traffic enforcement, is to make sure that you are where you're at and where you're going to safely.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just about taking responsibility and doing what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to remind everyone who's watching to post their questions or their comments for Officer Barrett or for Laser Tech below. If you live in the Great Lakes region of the Midwest, I encourage you to reach out to our sales manager, Aaron Ducray. He can offer you personalized support, answer any questions that you might have about our products or about traffic safety. And I would like to say that we will be speaking with Mike Lowther. He is one of our employees. He will be talking to us about how we make the magic happen back at Laser Tech, and we build the tools that people use to keep people safe. So we're looking forward to that next week, Tuesday at 2. Thank you.
Thank you.